Have you ever taken a big, deep breath of fresh air and felt super happy? That clean air is a gift, and we have a special law called the Clean Air Act that's been protecting it for 55 years, like a superhero guarding our skies. This law tells factories, power plants, and big machines to keep their yucky pollution under control so we can all breathe easy. But something really surprising just happened in the U.S. Senate, and it's got everyone buzzing like bees in a hive. Welcome to Enviro News Radio. Today, let's go on an environmental adventure to uncover what's going on and why it matters to you. Picture this. Factories chugging along making things like cars, clothes, or even your favorite cookies. But sometimes they puff out some seriously bad stuff into the air. We're talking about super dangerous pollutants like mercury, which can mess with your brain, dioxins, which sound like something a villain would cook up and can cause cancer, and they're nasty. Things are like benzene, lead, and furans. These aren't just icky. They can make kids, adults, and even animals sick. Imagine if the air you breathe had tiny invisible monsters that could hurt you. That's why the Clean Air Act is so important. It's like a rule book that says, factories, you've got to clean up your mess. One of the coolest rules in this superhero law is called the once in, always in rule. It's like telling factories, if you make a lot of these toxic pollutants, you have to use the very best tools to trap them. And you can't stop, even if you make a little less later. This rule was created to close a sneaky loophole. Before, some factories could say, oh, we're not making that much pollution anymore, and then use weaker tools, letting more bad stuff into the air. The once in, always in rule was like a shield, keeping our air safer, especially for kids who love to play outside. But here's where the plot twists. On 1st of May 2025, the U.S. Senate voted to get rid of this awesome rule. They used something called the Congressional Review Act, which is like a magic eraser that can wipe out rules with a simple vote. The vote was super close, 52 to 46, and it was led by a senator named John Curtis from Utah. Some senators thought this rule was too tough on factories. They said it made it hard for them to do their jobs and cost too much money. Guess what? This is the first time ever in the 55 years of the Clean Air Act that the Senate has tried to make it weaker. That's a huge deal, like a superhero losing part of their powers. So, why did some senators want to ditch this rule? Well, big companies, like ones that make oil or chemicals, told them the rule was a hassle. They said it slowed them down and made things expensive. They promised they'd still try to keep the air clean on their own, without the rule. But here's the thing. History shows that without strong rules, some factories don't always do the right thing. It's like when you're supposed to come to a complete stop at a stop sign. But without a police officer around, you might take a bit of a leeway. What happens next in this story? The Senate's decision isn't the end. The resolution now goes to the House, another group of lawmakers, and if they say yes, it'll head to President Donald Trump. He's already said he'd sign it, which would make the rule disappear faster than a popsicle on a hot day. If that happens, thousands of factories might not have to use those super strong pollution traps anymore. That could mean more mercury, dioxins, and other bad stuff floating into the air, especially near places where kids and families live. Yikes! Why should you care about this? Clean air is like the fuel that keeps you zooming through life, running, jumping, and playing without worrying about getting sick. Those toxic pollutants can cause big problems like cancer or trouble breathing, and they're especially sneaky around neighborhoods close to factories. Scientists and people who love the planet, like groups called Mom's Clean Air Force, are super worried. They say this decision could hurt the progress we've made in keeping our air clean. Did you know the Clean Air Act has already helped cut down mercury by 80% and lead by 90%? That's like winning a gold medal for the environment. But not everyone agrees. Some people think factories will clean up their pollution without being told, and that fewer rules will help them make more stuff, like toys or food, at lower prices. What do you think? Should we trust factories to be good without rules, or keep the Clean Air Act strong like a superhero? It's like choosing between hoping your dog doesn't eat your homework or putting it safely out of reach. This story is still unfolding, and it's one to watch if you love our planet. You can talk to your friends and family, or even write a letter to your local newspaper, magazine, or senator. Clean air is a big deal for your future, and your voice matters. If you want to learn more, you can check out websites like congress.gov or APA.gov. That's it for today. See you in another video. Till then, bye.